Hi, everyone, and welcome to On Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today, we're talking about Lost Season 4, Episodes 9 and 10. I'm Will. Also here is Ben, and you can watch full video episodes of the podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found at patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. I gotta say it, Ben. Season 4 continues to cook.
Yeah,
I think we had 2 great episodes this week.
I think so too. You seemed a little like I know you've given good caveats for it, but like you seemed a little more lukewarm the last few weeks, and I'm glad you agree. I thought these are pretty good ones. These are
Yeah.
actually like uh there have definitely been there have been better episodes in my opinion. But I've been a big fan. I've been a big fan or promoter of our slower pace, our natural, sort of closer to natural than what people do nowadays. Pace at the show of we just watch 2 episodes every week. And even when there's a really good episode, I'm normally like, yeah, let me sit with this. I'll come back to this a week from now. This time around, I was really feeling the pull of like skipping into the next episode. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to see it.
Yeah. These episodes had me looking around for the mash because they were bangers.
Nice. For
Just cook that
our
one up.
British
Mm-hmm.
listeners out there.
Mm-hmm. And it's back to basics in some ways, uh, i.e., being frustrated with Jack. That was back in a big way. It's been a while since I've written down like in all caps like Jesus Christ, Jack, fuck off, or something along those lines. But also, I think we have some of the most exciting setting of the mythological stakes we've had in the series, in the shape of things to come. That episode.
Mm.
I expected that we'd have a little bit more on the Kahana this week, but I'm guessing that freighter is going to feature prominently towards the conclusion, which we're probably going to be just pretty much setting up next week. But yeah, these were 2 very excellent. Season 4 has definitely been the most consistent season, I think, like by far. And so yeah, like I've given a couple of the episodes that we watched last week like 3s, I think. But yeah, those are season 4 3s. There hasn't really been a dud, I don't think,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is kind of wild to make
Yeah.
so many episodes of something and it hits so hard.
They focused in. This is when
They locked in.
Lost finally became president or whatever.
Yeah. When
However
Lost
they say
locks
that.
in. Maybe some of us are watching this show for a little bit of escapism, Ben, and you got to bring that stuff up.
Mm.
Well, let's talk about season 4, episode 9, The Shape of Things to Come. This aired April 24th, 2008. It was directed by Jack Bender, and I'm having a lot of fun watching the opening credits for these or noticing, like, when I see Jack Bender, I know I'm in safe hands. Like, it's definitely got to the point where, like, okay, it's going to be a Bender banger.
Sure.
If we're lucky.
I agree. I watch for his name too. The same way I've said this in the past, but when we did the James Bond thing and you caught on to Maurice Binder early on. And I've been watching all the James Bond movies again, and every new one comes up and I watch for Maurice Binder. And then I kind of I was reflecting on that at the end of January and thinking like, I don't know that Maurice Binder is a big deal to any fans other than us, really. I mean, he's a guy, I'm sure, you know, people know about him. You could know about him.
That's such
But
an interesting job to have. Sort of like I don't. It seems like a specialized job that I don't know how much of that kind of work there was like before the James Bond title sequences, and then you become the James Bond title
the guy,
sequence guy. Uh,
yeah,
and they are like all pretty whack. Honest. I mean, but
I
like the
love him.
big swings every time. I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
they're great in a way. You know, like uh,
in a good way, I think,
in a good
in the
way, I suppose. Yeah.
regular kind of great way, I think. But yeah,
Okay.
but I watch for him. I watched a James Bond movie, and now I'm always thinking about Maurice Binder. Is Maurice Binder on this one or not?
Did
Is
he
this
do all
a
of them? I mean, not
He's
up to a
dead.
certain point,
Yeah,
right?
all of them, almost all of them up to a certain point. He didn't do like from Russia with Love, which is actually like the best one probably. But yeah, I watched for my man Binder over in James Bond Land and Bender here on Lost
Yeah.
Island.
That's too good of an opportunity to segue back into the show, but I'm curious how far into the series have you gotten? Have you rewatched all of the Bonds this this time through, or where are
I'm
you at right now?
I've kind of taken a break for the last few weeks. I've got Die Another Day up next, so I've got to
Oh,
finish up
nice.
that and then all the Daniel Craig ones.
Okay, nice. You got pretty deep in then. All right, this was also written by Brian K. Vaughan and Drew Goddard. I shouldn't leave those guys behind. So this episode is set on December 27th, 2004, the survivors' 97th day on the island. You think they're gonna do something big for episode for day 100? We're looking around.
Mm,
We're like, hey,
mm.
that was a big thing at Zoe's college. Was the 100-day party? I guess it was 100 days until the end of the year.
Oh,
I
okay.
think is how they did it.
Yeah, that was a big thing at my school in kindergarten. My elementary
Really?
school. Yeah, didn't you have a 100th day of school party
100th
celebration?
day of school? No.
100th day of school. That was a big thing in literally in like from like preschool
Prob.
through about second grade. Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm guessing it had less drinking than the college version, but
Probably.
it probably. I mean, I where does school start? Like differs between preschool and school. Is kindergarten the start of school, or would you say first grade?
Ah, kindergarten definitely could be the
Kindergarten is
start.
the
I think
first
kindergarten's
year of
when you
school.
have to go to school. Sort of.
Okay, well then I feel like that's that. Then celebrating that 100th day of school in kindergarten is the big one, right? Is
Sure.
Do you remember your last recess, your final recess?
No. No. I don't know when that
I
would have been.
maybe I was, you know, perhaps preoccupied by my own mortality pretty early on, but I remember being in 5th grade, uh, like morosely walking around during the last recess of 5th grade and like just like telling everybody like, hey, this is our last recess, just bumming everybody out. Like this is our last recess ever, like for the rest of our lives. This is our last recess. And we don't
Nice.
get any recess next year. This is it right now. This is it. And I'm like, God damn it, dude. I'm trying to like swing or whatever.
No. Also, I feel like I had
Get on the
recess in
slide.
like 8th grade. Maybe not.
8th grade
I don't know.
recess.
I
What
just
school do you go to?
I just vaguely feel like that was the case. I
That
feel like
can't be the
I feel
case.
like we had recess in 8th grade,
You can't
yeah.
be having recess in 8th grade.
I like remember being older and playing like football,
Well,
like
you were
catch with a
held back
football.
for a few years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was gym class? Are you thinking of gym
College.
class? Because that's when it starts
No.
becoming. But you had PE and recess in elementary school. There's a lot of running around.
Physical activity back then. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Ben went to the school where you get to have recess until you're 14. It's funny.
I don't know.
I
I
don't know,
think
I was like
so.
reading books and doing like math and whatever, but I guess you were playing kickball. You play kickball? Is that a reset?
We played.
Kickball is
I
big.
feel like we played football.
But football? Okay.
Yeah, you're supposed to play touch football. You weren't allowed to tackle, which
Mhm.
probably makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Until 7th grade, then they let you until 7th grade recess, then they let you play full
7th
contact
grade
football
recess.
at
Yeah.
recess.
I think what it happened is you joined the football team. All right. Blah, blah, blah. The 97th day on the island at the beach camp, the corpse of Dr. Ray, the freighter Kahana's doctor, washes ashore with a big slit throat. The Glasgow smile, right? Isn't that what they call it? Across his neck.
Yeah, it's not a Glasgow smile unless they put it on your face, right?
Oh, really?
That's
I
just
thought it
a
was.
slit neck. No, I think Glasgow smiles when you put like a box cutter in somebody's uh, edge of their
That's the
mouth.
Joker. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Joker,
Okay.
Joker, Joker style. Yeah.
Well, you're right. I thought it was just like more, just like they'd be cutting your head off in Glasgow. So anytime you get like you got your whole shit cut off, it'd be a Glasgow smile, but I guess not.
I don't really know how
All right.
that worked, but I was under that impression too when I was when I first heard about that as a kid that that's what it be like in the United Kingdom.
Mm. You been to Glasgow? I have to
No.
really stretch this episode. I didn't write a lot of notes. Just
No.
asking what would research at recess. Okay. No Glasgow. All right. Daniel Faraday calls the freighter and asks what happened to Ray via Morse code. Daniel lies about the response, saying that the rescue helicopter will be sent soon, but Big B, who has a huge role in these two episodes, Bernard Nadler, steps up and calls him out on this and correctly interprets the freighter's message, which is actually, what are you talking about? The doctor's fine.
Is that
So,
I feel like that's not how they talk over Morse code. Don't you when you do Morse code, don't you have to do like don't you do like shorthand stuff, you know? Things are a little more
WTF, LOL,
formal.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never used Force. It did kind of surprise me. I was wondering, like, can you actually interpret Morse code that quickly,
Yeah.
like in real time, like that?
I was
But then I remember, I guess
doubting
there
it.
were like Telegram operators. Like, it probably is just like a language you eventually learn. But I thought they were
God,
like
here.
looking at like dots and dashes and translating it
I thought you'd like
letter
write
by letter.
I thought it was more like a there's probably somebody who's very quickly writing down the dots and dashes, and then there's somebody
And then
at
you're
a
more
much
reading it.
slower pace, kind of asynchronously translating it back into English,
Yeah.
into the alphabet
But
or
this is
whatever.
really like, he's like, oh my God,
He
nope, everything's cool.
he's doing like Matrix, like the Matrix is flashing across his
Yeah.
eyes. Like, listen, I guess so, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So undetermined. Zoe was pretty convinced that, like, yeah, that's definitely possible, is to understand that. But it seemed that seemed like it'd be pretty tough to me.
It seems tough. I gotta say, Zoe's probably that's a safer bet, right? But I don't respect the bet because it's a safe.
You
It's
don't respect the bet.
It's a it's a safe. That's a safe bet because even if she's wrong, that nobody else does it, she could just be like, "Well, that's a skill issue. I could do that."
Yeah, you could skill up and get to the point. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like we have two guys who are right there who can do the Morse code that quickly.
Yeah.
Bernard and Daniel.
I'm doubting. I'm doubting it. I
Yeah.
don't think I could write down the dots and dashes that fast, to be honest.
Absolutely not. I mean, I guess
Too
like
fast.
I've never done anything with Morse code, so presumably having any background at all probably like gives you a massive advantage compared to not having any experience, which is kind of obvious. But so I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Bernard really came in handy these two episodes. I kind of forgot that he had like his medical background but also a Morse code
A little
background.
Morse code. Maybe he was like, I think the first time I learned about Morse code was in the context of the movie Balto,
Oh,
which is a
sure.
little bit of
Yeah.
a medical Morse code crossover movie. You gotta.
Wait, what happened? What's the Morse code in that?
Well, I think
That's one of the
they're
few
saying
movies I
like
watched as a kid, but I don't remember the Morse code
they're
bit.
saying like on the telegram, out of medicine,
Here comes
stop.
Balto. Stop.
Out of
Oh,
medicine, stop.
we're giving the
Send more
dog the
medicine,
medicine. Stop.
stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The med.
Send the
Look for
dogs,
a dog
stop.
with medicine. Stop. Yeah.
Balto.
Don't let the dog eat the medicine. Stop.
Slowly, and very momentously typing out Balto, Balto, and then the guys on the other hand, like the B, A. They're getting like psyched. Oh, L. Fuck, they're sending Balto. We're good.
We're in good hands, everybody. We're in good paws, gang.
It's crazy though that that they have a Balto statue in New York.
They should, dude.
It's
He
Alaska.
was the man.
I was pretty surprised by that, I have to say, when I moved here. And I was walking around Central Park and they've got the Balto statue. Seems out of place.
Yeah, wait, why is he in Central Park?
Because he's a cool ass dude.
Okay, the answer is apparently to celebrate the dog. All right, that's not helpful. No shit. A bronze statue of Balto by Frederick Roth is installed in Central Park. He's an Alaskan Husky. Okay, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, but Balto rules. I remember when we were there last. There's a bunch of people taking pictures next to the Balto statue.
Balto.
I was for some reason convinced I was about to shit my pants, so I did not stop for any reason.
Interesting.
Made my way over to the MoMA.
Balto's
kind of
definitely a top 2 dog, I would say.
like historical dog.
Historical dog, probably top 2. I put him up there with Hachiko.
What's Hachi's?
Hachi's the Japanese dog where like he would go to the train station to meet his owner every day, and then the owner's an old guy and he died, and then the dog still just kept going every day.
Dude, heartbreaking.
Yeah, top 2 dog. Hachiko versus Balto.
Oh.
Who you got?
we're not versing the dogs.
Okay.
I've also, I mean, anytime a dog has a job, except for like the main reason that dogs have jobs, like police dogs, that sucks. You should not make dogs be cops. But outside of that, like when they're service animals, it like instant pulling on my heartstrings. But especially like rescue dogs. I mean, not especially, like all service animals, but the the Saint Bernards that like do snow rescues, that's huge.
Big.
There was like a Newfoundland that rescued shipwrecked sailors.
Don't know.
I read a book about it as a kid or something. Anyway,
I will tie this back around though. We got a working dog in this episode, and it's the dog that found this dead man.
Yes, Vincent spotted.
Good job, Vincent.
Yeah, we love to see Vincent. Vincent figured out that it was the doctor was there. Okay, so yeah, Daniel says Daniel does some lying, and he's weird, whispery delivery. He's doing a little bit of Jeff Goldblum.
He really does. It's crazy. I don't think I caught on to it. Like, I guess I knew it, but I didn't
turns it up in these episodes.
These episodes were insane. Yeah. Whisper mode only.
He lays it on so thick. Like he was my favorite new character, and like until these episodes, he really turned me off. Like I don't know. They put a little bit too much English on it. But yeah, Jack who suffers from stomach pains throughout the day, forces Daniel to reveal that it was never their intention to rescue the survivors. Well, we never really wanted to rescue you. We're just scientists. Stop, dude. Knock it off. Quit talking like that. Meanwhile, Alex is captured by Martin Keeney, the veneer goon, and others from the freighter. As they take her to the barracks, she sets off an alarm heralding the arrival of Ben's enemies. Very clever. Keeney takes her to the perimeter where there's the sound fence or whatever, and they have her disable it, but she enters the code that calls the phone and says like it's code whatever. Ben, John Locke, and Hurley are hanging out, and they're playing Risk when this phone call comes. And at some point, Hurley says, Australia is the key to this game, which I noted. And they start fortifying Ben's house when the call comes through. It's like a code. It's like code 849. They go over to Ben, who's playing his own villain music on the piano. And they're like, "Hey, what's code 849?" He's like, "Oh shit!" And he opens up the piano bench and pulls out a shotgun right there. That was a cool moment. Like, anytime that you think that, Ben isn't in control, he'll just uncover another level, right? He'll always level up. And we see that to extreme degree later in this episode too.
I think I should put a shotgun in the what do you call it? Bench. The bench under my piano as well. I've got the tuner coming in like a couple weeks, and I think that'd be a good
surprise.
way to break the ice with him. Be like, oh, gotta take my shotgun out before you sit down.
Don't sit down too hard. Yeah. I feel like a gun being hidden in a piano is like a great little it's like cinema. Like anytime that happens, it was just in an episode of in the Say Nothing show, which I mean probably means that it was real, but it's just like a cool moment to strip a piano or reach into a piano, pull out a gun. It's just, I don't know. If I ever get a real piano, I just got an electric keyboard, and it's very different to just have a Desert Eagle sitting on middle C there or something. It's way less romantic.
Nice.
Okay, so they fortify Ben's house by putting all of the furniture in it up against the front door, while Sawyer goes to retrieve the other survivors in the barracks. He is partially successful because he saves Claire from her exploded and burning house. But, okay, this was a big question I had this episode. But 3 survivors, portrayed by extras, are shot to death by the mercenaries.
Yeah.
I was really confused about who these people were. I didn't realize that we had any extras left. I thought we had already gotten it to the point where it was just the main named guys.
I guess
so
not.
Are these the others? Do we have any others left? Are there others anymore? Where's Richard Alpert in crew? But
they're off. They're off
the board
doing stuff.
Okay, they're out somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess these were part of Sawyer's team or whatever. But yeah, they get owned, died, and Claire's house blows up, but Sawyer reaches into the wreckage, because we're all why does Kate end up raising Aaron? Does Claire not make it? And we see her house blow up. We see that Aaron's with Hurley. We're well, that could have been it.
That could have been it.
Claire is in there. She's disoriented and confused, and she's when Sawyer picks her up, she's like, Charlie? And there's no, come with me.
There've been guns, obviously, a lot of guns in the series up until this point, but ultimately not a lot of firefights. Uh,
Yes. True.
Nevertheless, they amp up the intensity by somebody, yeah, pulling out. This is not like an errant bullet that goes into like a gas tank, cinema explosion style or whatever. Somebody pulls out a what I would call a rocket launcher, and you will have to tell me what else to call it if it's not that. But one of those
Sure.
things that seems to shoot a
One of those things that shoots
rocket, a big
explosion. Yeah.
explosion thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
We got a wizard casting a fireball at this house, basically. um, yeah. So yeah, Sawyer brings her back to the main house, and like Ben tells Locke, he's like, "All right, you got to stick with me throughout all of this because they're not going to kill me, and you have to survive." So we can get to Jacob, like and Hurley or whatever. And so like they like board up this house to fortify the house, and Sawyer and Claire are outside, and Sawyer's trying to get in, and Ben and Locke are kind of like, nah. I mean, like Ben's basically like, yeah, definitely not. Like that's it for them. I don't care. And Locke's like, ooh, okay, I got to do what I got to do to fulfill my spiritual quest here. He's ready to like leave them for the wolves, but not H-Man. Hurley throws an ottoman through the front window, and lets Sawyer get in, which is like great move by Hurley. Hurley's the man, and also a pretty like obvious weak point, I think, as far as fortifying the house goes. They have like 15 feet of a barricade on just the front door, and then like you could just like sort of step through the window if you wanted to get in that way. Kimi finds and frees Miles Strum, giving him a walkie-talkie to take to Ben. Ben communicates with Kimi, who threatens to kill Alex if Ben does not surrender. Ben attempts to negotiate, and this is a pretty intense moment of the episode. Kimi
I don't know if Ben
drags
really
her.
attempts to negotiate.
Yeah.
He kind of attempts to sidestep negotiations, I'd say.
Yes. He tries to talk his way out of it. He takes the same approach that he always does. This is my read on it, but like he's pretty much always able to talk his way out of anything. Or like, sneak his way out of something. He's always got more cards than you realized, and he's always acting as if he has more information in whatever hand that is being played. And this time, and this time he's like, yeah, she was just some random baby I took from a crazy woman. I don't care about her. And those are the last words Alex hears because Kimi just shoots her.
Yep.
And she dies. Ben is shocked, and what a moment. That was kind of crazy. Ben's big mouth really did it this time, and that was the way that Alex spent the last moments of her life hearing your dad say that stuff really sucks. And Ben is kind of like shocked, dealing with it, trying to process that, not really moving or thinking. And then he finally stands up and says he changed the rules, or the rules have changed, something like that. And then he like walks off into a the secret room, like behind a bookcase or something. And then, shuts the door behind him, and they're like, "Well, what the heck happened there?" And even behind the he goes even further beyond. There's like the secret room, and then within the secret room, there's a secret door that he opens, and then we see like a much older, ancient, like stone door with like hieroglyphs on it. And Ben enters that secret chamber there. He reemerges shortly after, covered in soot, and then the smoke monster arrives and attacks Kimi's henchmen. The survivors flee for the forest, with Ben lingering briefly to grieve over Alex's body. I think Hurley was like, "Hey, did you summon that thing?" Although that goes on, it seems like certainly that's what goes on. So yeah, there's something that like Ben did, or Ben thought like the parameters of the game were one thing before the game. I've been thinking this now. The end of this episode is really making me like, ooh, this is like the big game of Go in the sky or something. But yeah, he was for some reason not going to pull that or play that card when they were already being shot at and blown up and all of that. And then this apparently caused for like, all right, break in case of emergency or something. So yeah, Ben lingers briefly to grieve over Alex's body. Afterward, Ben and Locke depart to locate Jacob for further instructions. Sawyer, Hurley, Claire, and Aaron. Wait. No. Oh, yeah. Okay. Sawyer, Hurley, Claire, and Aaron return to the beach with Miles, but Locke holds them at gunpoint, demanding that Hurley goes with them because he's found Jacob's cabin before. And Sawyer and Locke have a bit of a standoff, both guns pointed at each other, and Hurley, being ever the peacemaker, was like, "No, I'll go with them. I'll catch up with you guys. You go on." Flash forwards show Ben on 3 continents in autumn 2005. He is startled when he wakes up in the Sahara Desert, wearing a winter jacket with a large cut on his upper arm. Challenged by 2 armed locals, he kills one of them and knocks the other one out, and travels on horseback to Tunisia on October 24th, 2005. He's in operator mode. This is another situation where like we can see that he slithers out of every encounter that he gets that he gets into. And we can see that he's multilingual. He speaks English and he speaks Arabic. He speaks Turkish. It hopes to communicate with these guys and then eventually knocks him out with the baton. He journeys to Tikrit, Iraq. Or I did the thing. I was going to comment on this. I did the thing.
Michael Emerson, big time.
Yeah. I wrote down Michael Emerson is the first Iowan to pronounce it Iraq. And here I am 20 years later doing the same thing.
Yeah. It is very funny him walking briefly around Iraq though. And like, because I think it's in
this is how you look on vacation, I assume.
This is what I do.
Yeah.
But he does clarify that the year is like 2005 or whatever. But it's just very funny that like it's funny to imagine Ben going undercover and like you don't quite know what he's up to yet at this point. So like I'm thinking like, oh, he's on the lam more or less. He's probably trying to avoid Penny's dad, probably avoid like the US government in general. And then I just thought it was funny imagining someone thinking like in the year 2005, where could I go outside of the United States where I would be certain to not run into anyone else from like the United States or like
specifically the United States government.
Five Eyes country or something like that. Where are they definitely not located at all? Iraq.
I'm gonna go to Iraq. But in a really funny moment, this is when he's still in Tunisia, but he checks into the hotel and he asks the lady working at the desk, like, what day is it? She's October 24th. And he's like, 2005? He says, yes. He's like, all right. My name is Dean Moriarty. I'm in the I'm in the, look me up. I'm a preferred guest.
Yeah.
And so Dean Moriarty is a character in On the Road, Jack Kerouac book, and also Moriarty being Sherlock Holmes's nemesis. Um,
Yeah. Very goofy ass name.
or if you're a Hollywood Handbook fan, Santa Man's nemesis.
Cool.
Moriarty! Ben journeys to Iraq, where the funeral of Saeed's wife, Nadia, is taking place. Yeah, Ben like catches Saeed on the TV in Tunisia, and then he's like, all right, I gotta go get to him. And he like he goes to like the funeral processional. Ben goes up on top of a building, and he's got his obviously Nikon camera that he is just like barely taped over, taking photos, and then Saeed catches him because he's got the flash on. Super amateur mistake.
Yeah. I mean, that's just also part of the like whole Iraq war thing too. Like you're kind of a white guy walking around. I mean, I don't know for sure, but I would guess if you're just kind of like a sus looking white guy kind of walking around with a long ass telephoto lens or whatever,
I'm just here taking pictures.
taking pictures of things, you probably have a lot of other people than just Saeed who you might not want to see you, right? And
Yes.
everyone would be taking note.
Yeah.
Who is does anybody know who is the CIA guy on
Yeah.
on that roof?
Everyone clocks him instantly. Yeah. I mean, he does look super goofy.
Yeah.
It can't be emphasized enough, like how goofy Michael Emerson looks.
He does
in these
look like
scenes.
like us,
How we would look.
fellow white guys from Iowa.
If you put an Iowan
vacation.
in Iraq,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like. And so yeah, Saeed tackles him, confronts him, and all of that. Ben tells Saeed that Charles Widmore, ordered Ishmael Bakir to kill Nadia. Ben lures Bakir into a trap to be killed by Saeed, who shoots Bakir repeatedly. Ben recruits Saeed to become Ben's assassin and leaves for London, where he changes into another undercover outfit, where he breaks into Widmore's penthouse. I have a penthouse question though.
Sure.
So it seems like he sneaks past like the door guard here, and then he goes to like the elevator, and then like picks the lock to go to the penthouse, and then the elevator like opens up in the penthouse. Is that how it works? If you live in a penthouse, like the elevator goes like straight into your living space?
Yeah, I can. You can. I don't know if
I don't
it's
think I'd like that. I think I would prefer to have like
that
still a little bit of like a receiving hallway.
I mean, I think some people do. Yeah. They also do that, but that's why there's the key, you know.
Well, there's the key, yeah, but still, I don't want the like. It's still like, if I'm living in like a London penthouse, I'm like a millionaire magnate type thing. I don't want like the elevator that like contains elevators in like apartment buildings are kind of grody, whatever. I don't want that just like opening up into my
He's
into
at
my
a nice
house.
apartment.
I
He's at a
guess
nice
it'd be
apartment.
kind of.
I know. I get what you're saying. Yeah. I think it's a decision.
Yeah. I guess I'm just thinking of like the apartments that I've lived at that have had elevators. People are always like pissing in them. So like I think
Yeah.
like if you in my penthouse just opens up and it's like just piss carpet smell all the time, would that be a good
Yeah.
one?
It's true.
So yeah, he breaks into Widmore's penthouse, wakes him up. He's got McCatchin on his bedside table.
Yeah.
Or McCutcheon. Yeah, McCutcheon. And confronts him there and Ben cannot kill Widmore, apparently. he states that he is going to kill Widmore's daughter, Penelope, in retribution for Alex's death. In their conversation, Widmore claims that the island is his and that he will take it back from Ben one day. So this was the coolest part to me. It was like this conversation here. It sets it up like, I don't know, to me, like, I'm getting, like, they're probably not a good book to invoke right now, but like good omens, like, the angel and the demon who have like long kind of like battled over centuries and centuries of forever being alive, and then they're like going to be, I don't know, they've got like plans in play, games in play with the mortal realm, things like that. But like, I don't know, they got like, they're almost like these mythological super creatures that are making moves on each other, and for some reason, how like Greek gods would like battle over territory, even though they're like gods, right? But
Yeah.
they still got like problems with each other. I don't know. Very, very cool setup for this. I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. This was an awesome episode.
Interesting. Wow. It's a 4 for me, but I also think it's a really good episode.
I forgot about this. When Ben confronts Saeed, well, when Saeed confronts Ben in Iraq, Saeed is like to like when he gets recruited into helping Ben becoming his assassin, he explains to Ben, I spent the last 8 years of my life looking for the woman I love. I think that needs a pretty like heavy asterisk, like with a pretty strong detour where there is a significantly younger blonde woman on the beach that he was into for a while. There is also that going on.
Sure.
But aside from that, I was looking for my wife.
Yep.
Oh yeah, okay. Charles says everything that Ben has, he took from Widmore. Interesting. Oh, and then also, I think Kimmy's a good character. I mean, like a real motherfucker, obviously, but he is like one of these PMC operator asshole like psychopaths kind of thing that like is a good portrayal of this type of antisocial meathead freak that the military industrial complex is filled with, and this is a good portrayal of it back in 2005.
Yeah.
And this, big smoke. The smoke situation is back. Big smoke monster.
You get some good views. Good views of the smoke monster.
And it looks good too. Like they did a good job of the VFX. You can definitely like, I'm sure like maybe VFX budget increased over the course of the show, or VFX technology I'm sure was rapidly increasing, or maybe they just got better at it for some reason. But yeah, it looked really good this episode. We got like lightning and stuff in it. Yeah, excellent. This episode of Lost on Ice is brought to you by us. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and checking out our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Dr. Skeleton. Okay? It's Dr. Skeleton. Season 4, Episode 8, called Something Nice Back Home. This aired May 1st, 2008. It was directed by Stephen Williams and written by Edward Kitsis and Adam Horowitz. On the beach. Let's start there. After feeling ill for a day, Jack faints, paying off with what's going on, with what was going on last episode. He's all sweaty, grody, struggling. Juliet diagnoses him with appendicitis and deems an appendectomy is necessary. She sends Sun to get medical supplies for the Staff Dharma Initiative Medical Station, and Sun is accompanied by Jen, Daniel, and Charlotte. The latter pair are increasingly distrusted by their survivors. Uh, yeah. Juliet asks Sun to go because she knows where that medical station is. We can't take Jack there because if he moves too much, his appendix might burst and kill him. And Sun doesn't know what all of the list of supplies look like, so she needs to take somebody who does, and that's Daniel. And he's familiar with it because he did dissections of animals in college, I guess, is what he says.
Yeah.
It's okay. I've been inside an animal or two.
Yeah, he didn't have
And
to say
Charlotte
that
goes,
part. He should have just said, you know, I work in
I can look.
academia, I'm a nerd,
Yeah.
I'm a doctor, something like that. But
Yeah.
instead, yeah, I've dissected a few, a few
Yeah.
animals in my day.
Guts are nothing new to me. Yeah, Charlotte goes with because I guess she and Daniel go everywhere together. And then Jin goes with because he's trying to protect Sun. And so we got this whole squad that shows up. And they get to the station. They open up the doors. It's dark. And Charlotte's about to step in. And then Daniel's like, why don't you hang back and I'll go first. And Jin says to Sun in Korean, do you think she realizes he likes her? And Sun says in Korean back, of course she does, she's a woman. And then Charlotte kind of looks back and smiles to herself. Eventually, Jin realizes that Charlotte is fluent in Korean and confronts her after their successful trip, threatening to hurt Daniel if she continues to lie about her agenda and does not get Sun off the island. He threatens to break Daniel's fingers.
Yeah, he's got a good threat. Pretty surprising back then. Gotta say, like
that a white person knew Korean.
What I feel like now, Korean soft power. You know, the K-pop effect. I'd say about 50 to 100% of white American women all speak fluent English nowadays. You know, I just assume every white woman in America speaks Korean now, but in 2004, not true. Good little catch. But our Zoomer viewers might not know this. They'd just be like, "Of course she speaks Korean." Everybody does.
It used to be the case that not everybody did.
Not everybody did.
Jack convinces Juliet to allow him to remain awake during the surgery, with Kate holding a mirror so that he can see and direct the surgery. Crazy move.
Psycho.
This man.
Psycho move. No.
As Juliet's like preparing for the surgery, he's like telling her like, I'm gonna want to do this. I want to talk you through it. She's shaving his stomach, and he's like, well, you should know that the incision's gonna be 2 inches lower. I gotta say, I don't know what kind of doctor Jack is. I mean, he's a spinal surgeon, right? I don't know how like doctor stuff works, surgery stuff works. I thought you would just be like, he's probably like really good at like that type of surgery.
Yeah.
You're not just like automatically the surgery guy.
Yeah.
For like all types of surgery. He's sure acting like it. And Juliet's like, I performed many appendectomies in residency. But he's gonna type. I guess he worked in the ER too. So I don't know. Are you maybe you're more of a generalist?
I think they're
when you
probably
come in with appendicitis.
Both not the best person that could probably do it. But that said, Jack is the person who needs the surgery done to him, so he should definitely shut the fuck up.
Be unconscious. Yeah.
Unconscious.
Shut the fuck up. And yeah, like
if he was
Julia's done it a bunch before.
The best appendectomist in the world or something, and kind of being crazy about it, and he knows something special about himself. Okay, maybe
if he had a tumor on his spine, he would need to like walk through Juliet.
That's
like,
what
that'd be the better.
If this was his,
if this is still an appendectomy, it's still a routine surgery.
Yeah,
that she's done many times already. Yeah, but it's like, okay, we've got somebody who is generally with general medical knowledge, I'm going to be able to talk you through, but you've never taken this tumor off a spine before, then like, let's, let's talk. Maybe I'll let you talk me through it, but like, definitely not this thing.
He also very quickly fails too at
Yeah.
being a macho dude who's like, yeah, just light
Kate, move the mirror a little bit to the left.
Yeah. And then she like opens up the incision or whatever, and he immediately goes like, ah,
oh fuck, oh god, no. And so Bernard chloroforms him right away. And Kate gets kicked out. This is like, all right, this is way better. I mean, so like, why is this in this episode? It's not just to like, I don't know, keep the tension up or anything, but it's I think it underscores Jack like insane controlling, the need to be in control thing going on, as well as like the Jack, Kate, Juliet story is all happening. But yeah, Bernard, holding it down as always, is like being extremely useful in these 2 episodes. He is there with his medical background to just sort of like, hand Juliet stuff and knock out the patient as necessary if he's getting a little bit too yappy.
Bernard is
as he yaps about his nerdy interests.
he's a dentist, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Makes I can say this as the offspring of one or whatever, but makes sense that he's good with the what do you say, narcotics, the
sure,
what do you call that stuff,
the anesthesia,
and the anesthesia. Yeah, I guess it's a narcotic too. I think dentists are infamously people are skeptical about them on that kind of stuff sometimes. Infamously,
they're getting high on their own supply.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Well, we certainly get some of that in this episode. We get a lot of that in this episode of getting high on your own supply. You're a doctor giving yourself medication, or I guess not yourself medication. We see that later on when Jack becomes a full-blown addict. But yeah, last episode I think he was like knocking back some antibiotics because he said he had food poisoning.
Yeah.
I don't think that's how that works.
Don't think it's how it works either.
There you go. As Juliet operates, Jack's consciousness proves to be a detriment, and her nurse, dentist Bernard Nadler, knocks him out with chloroform. The appendectomy is a success. Afterwards, Juliet tells Kate that Jack really does love Kate and not Juliet. When Kate leaves, Juliet tells Jack that she knows he's awake, after which he opens his eyes. Yeah, he got called out for faking. I had a reaction to this episode, and I don't think this is strictly true about Lost, because there are several I can think of a few women who are emotionally intelligent, and then like basically everybody's emotionally really stupid, but like Lost dares to ask the question with Juliet's character, what if a woman was smart? Basically. But like pretty much everybody is really dumb when it comes to like interpersonal emotional stuff, but like it's refreshing to have like Juliet just kind of like know the score, and she's not going to like be acting like a teenager the whole time with stuff. And also calling Jack out for pretending to be asleep is a really good moment too. A Jack's little kid ass. In the jungle, en route back to the beach camp, Sawyer, distrustful of Miles, gives him a restraining order to keep him away from Claire as they travel to the survivors' beach camp with Claire's infant son, Aaron. On their way, Miles discovers the partially buried bodies of Danielle Rousseau and Carl. They really do be dead, I guess. I'm kind of surprised that was like it for Danielle. We never really got a Danielle flashback episode. Maybe we'll see more of her, hopefully. If that was it, I'm kind of sad. Like, I don't know. What was she really? What was she really there for in the end? Carl, I'm okay with. He had to go be in Spring Awakening. That's fine. The group encounters Frank Lapidus, who saves their lives by instructing them to hide from the nearby band of mercenaries led by Martin Keamy, who were revealed to not have been killed by the smoke monster in the previous episode. So they were able to fight off the smoke monster, I guess. We got some tough cookies, or something happened where they just ran. Yeah. The mercenaries are on their way back to the helicopter to return to the freighter Kahana. At night, Miles watches Claire as she leaves with her deceased father, Kendrick Lamar voice, Christian! Yeah, I was super excited every time I saw Christian this episode. Let's go.
Yep.
Let's go. Sawyer awakens the next morning to find Aaron alone under a nearby tree and calls out for Claire with no response. Flash forwards. Let's talk about it. In flash forwards, Jack has returned to work as a doctor in Los Angeles. He is engaged to Kate and lives with her while hoping to raise Aaron. We get a little bit of like a Kate reveal. Like he like wakes up in the morning. He like puts some panties in the hamper. He goes into the bathroom and there's a woman showering.
And he like finds the underwear and he looks at it and smiles.
You know there was a take where he put it up to his face. You're like, bro, no. Nat, just put it in the hamper like the script says. But yeah, Kate steps out of the shower. I'm like, oh, what? They're together and they're happy? They're very happy? Are they suspiciously too happy? He steps on Legos, some Millennium Falcon Legos, and Lostpedia points out Millennium Falcon is a spaceship that's in Star Wars, and Star Wars has characters who didn't realize that they were brother and sister.
Ooh.
Little reference there, little connection.
Ooh.
Nice.
Old Boy's been out by this point too. We got people speaking Korean.
Well, I think we're talking about Claire and Jack, right? That's what I was gonna. Are we?
Yeah.
And Kate? Maybe she's in the mix too.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm just calling balls and strikes, and these are very clearly balls and or strikes.
I don't think Old Boy was brother and sister though.
No, it was father and daughter.
Yes.
But we got a father and daughter.
Sure. Jack visits Hugo, who is in a mental institution. Hurley has not been taking his medication and is suffering from potentially hallucinations of his deceased friend Charlie Pace. He believes that the Oceanic Six have already died and gone to heaven. And that's why things are so good.
Hurley's bad. Hurley's down bad. I gotta say, in my professional doctor opinion, he's not doing
down
well.
Bad.
Yeah. He is not doing well.
Writing on your little notepad, like, what no bitches does to a motherfucker. This is what Hurley gets. Yeah, he's not doing great. If this is heaven, man, that's tough. That's a tough break for eternal life if you're locked up in the asylum there.
Why didn't Jack say that? Why didn't he say if this is heaven?
I thought so. What? Maybe you didn't want to be like,
why's your life suck so much?
If this is heaven, what are those? Yeah.
Yeah.
Real. They gave me a chihuahua moment here.
You're in hell, my dude.
Yeah. I'm at home like Evangeline Lily's jumping all over me any chance I get. You're in here sweating. That we are not the same. Hurley gives Jack a message from Charlie though. You're not supposed to raise him. And Hurley's like, Jack, do you think that means Aaron? Like, Yeah,
Hurley's really good.
probably Hurley. Yeah, probably.
He's really good at twisting the knife in
Yeah.
the kind of
Say,
way that
Jack.
only an insane guy, an allegedly insane guy can do, you know.
Oh, Jack, do you think that means like this son that you've adopted? Like with I think like this doomed marriage that you and your wife are headed towards? You think that's what this is about? Charlie has also evidently told Hurley that Jack will be receiving a visitor soon. On two separate occasions, Jack sees his father. What are the two occasions? What are the one is in the lobby. That's the big one that I
The
can.
lobby. The
What's
second
the other one?
one also in the lobby during the day.
Oh yeah. Like looks back and okay.
Yeah.
But there was the one the smoke detector was low.
Mm.
The freaking smoke monster detector, or just the smoke detector. But Jack
Ooh.
follows the beep, which was really intriguing to my dog Nora while we were watching this. She was the beep and she was "Mm, mm, mm," at every beep. So that was fun.
He's got the same smoke detectors as I think I have. I recognize them because I changed the batteries recently.
I cannot remember ever changing my batteries. I gotta do that.
You better do that.
Probably.
Yeah. You're
I
in
should
trouble.
probably do that. They beep if they get low, though, right? That's what we learned.
Yeah. Which is confusing.
How come they haven't beeped in like 3 years? I haven't changed them in 3 years.
They probably beeped while you were on vacation or something, or you were
And they just went
away,
out.
and then
Ooh,
they just
yeah.
went out. Now they're dead.
Well, I think that the only logical next step here is to light a fire and see if it detects it to see if it's on or
Mm.
not.
Mm.
Yeah. So Jack asks his colleague Erica Stevenson to prescribe him the anti-anxiety drug clonazepam.
Yep.
After overhearing a phone call, Jack becomes suspicious of Kate. The next night, a heated argument ensues in which she reveals that she is doing an errand for Sawyer, who Jack says is on the island by choice. He's like, comes home early, gets blasted off of beer and wine. Pretty potent combo, that beer and wine, gotta say. And yeah, basically is completely torpedoing this whole relationship of his own doing by being super suspicious. And Jack is shouting at Kate that she's not even related to that kid as Aaron walks into the room.
Yeah. That's a little kid though. He doesn't know what's going on. Everybody
They
acted like he
do.
knew. He didn't know. He did not know.
Well, they called him like the babies upstairs. Like, are you calling that a baby?
That's not a baby. I mean,
Not a baby.
I call my dog a baby, but I wouldn't call my kid
Well,
a
that's
baby.
different.
Yeah.
I mean, when they're not a baby anymore. Like I thought that's like a specific stage of development. He's out of toddler stage too. He seems to be like 3 or 4. Although he's probably
He's walking around.
He's
He's
walking around.
walking
Yeah.
around. If you can walk around, you can go get a job.
Well, he's not a baby at the very least.
Sure. So he could go get a job.
And yeah.
Get out of this. Get out of this house. What are you doing here?
If you can lean, you can clean, kid. Get out there. I mean, if you're old enough to be read Alice in Wonderland, he could probably understand that your mom's not your mom, dude. Yeah. Jack sucks. Always good to remind yourself that he sucks. I'm back to being pissed at Jack. I can give this episode a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's a good one for me. This is a 4 as well.
I will give Jack credit though that his car is ridiculously swagged. The old Bronco is sick. He's driving that around. And I did find one of the comments that you made on Reddit about this episode, uh,
Sure.
where referencing the scene where Juliet is shaving Jack's stomach. It's from username at Ben from Lost on Ice.
No.
Quote, "Body bald is a massive disappointment from the beautiful natural body he had." End quote.
What does that mean? What is body ball? What?
Body bald.
So they're
He's sad.
disappointed
You
in
were
his
sad
shaving.
that Jack isn't hairy anymore. That he
Mm.
had a beautiful natural body, and then that he went body bald, and that's a massive disappointment.
Juliet shaved his entire body for that.
We do get a lot of shaving Jack this episode because like Kate says something about like the razors, and she doesn't like the scruff early on in the
Yeah.
flash forward, and yeah, Juliet shaves his tummy in this. But yeah, I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry. This is a 4 out of 5. You knocked a star off because Jack
Body
went body bald.
Body bald.
It's such a gross thing. Body bald.
Never heard that one before. Yeah.
That's it for the show today. If you like the show and want to hear more from Ben and I, consider joining our Patreon. That's patreon.com/drskeleton. Every week, Ben and I release a bonus hangout show and get into the stuff that we just can't talk about on the main feed. Write into the show at drskeletonsartschool@gmail.com. Write in the comments down below why it's such a shame that Jack went body bald. Who do you want to see body bald next? Who you think should keep their naturally beautiful hairy bodies? Talk about that in the comments.
I want to see a bald
Next.
Hurley. I want to see a head bald.
Smooth
Hurley.
Hurley. We see smooth Kate later on. I want to see smooth, shiny Hurley, please.
Yep.
Computer, bring up smooth, shiny Hurley. Next week, Smooth Sawyer would be creepy, though, too. I mean, all these guys.
Locke's a pretty obvious one,
Yeah,
but he
he's
could
already
do
smooth.
oil his head up.
Okay. Next week, we're watching season 4, episodes 11 and 12. See you then.